And we appreciate you joining us on your Thursday. It's been an active weather day right across the country. I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Woodall, and joining me is meteorologist and birthday girl Nicole Karkic. Happy birthday, Nicole.
Thanks so much. Yeah, and we're in storm watch for that. Lots to do, so it's going to be a busy night, a great birthday night at that.
There you go. Maybe you'll have some cake in between doing some TV.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on the East Coast. I know you're just sort of joining us for the day, but really, Nicole, it's been much of what we saw yesterday. So some the heavy rain amounts, some strong winds for sure in the area. Yarmouth still looking at the rainfall warning, Lunenburg and St. John, and there's the latest SATRAD, Nicole.
Exactly. So steady rain still through the maritime provinces, around Halifax in particular, an additional 20 to 30 millimeters of rain taking you right into tomorrow. And even though it's going to clear up into tomorrow, the weekend still seeing some on and off showers for areas like Halifax.
Yeah, okay. And then that's right, another system really moving in from the northwest. So
exactly.
Once this one's gone, another one lined up. Won't bring as much to Newfoundland, only about 20 millimeters, that second system. But here's what Nicole was just saying. Yeah, a good 30 at least for down through Halifax. Let's show you this. Going to the East Coast any time of year is pretty nice. You know, I went for a vacation before I went and chased Hurricane Gonzalo.
Right.
I was in Massachusetts for a nice family vacation, and they had some heavy rain over the last 24 hours with this nor'easter as well.
And still quite gorgeous, too.
Yeah, it was still quite gorgeous. All right, so rainfall amounts 15 to 30 millimeters up through Newfoundland. Here's what we've seen so far.
Right, Halifax, 11 millimeters of rain so far, but places like Fredericton, 31 millimeters of rain. And keep in mind, there is still more to go, and this is just at 3 p.m. local time.
All right, then here's a track of the system, Nicole. Northeast winds, that's why we call it that nor'easter, and it's going to continue, as you mentioned, right into at least tomorrow afternoon, then finally becoming lighter.
Right, and for you, Newfoundland, if you're wondering what's going on with you, no warnings in place, but we do have St. John seeing heavy amount of rain, but just under that rainfall warning criteria, up to 30 millimeters on Friday.
All right, let's take it to the west coast. Downpours.
Yeah, that's right. You definitely don't want to be driving through that. So closed off streets. We still have rain showers through BC. It is letting up for tomorrow, Jacqueline, but again, for you on the weekend, another system.
It's a parade of systems, one after another, and even the number 2 or 3, I think it is the remnants of Tropical Storm Anna.
Exactly.
Of course, which, you know, left a mark in Hawaii. Vancouver picked up 39 millimeters. Port Alberni, I mean, we were forecasting higher amounts there on the island, 138.
Yeah, so impressive there. And this takes us into Friday. So it's going to let up a bit for Friday. Could even see some peaks of sun at times, but hope towards Abbotsford under 20 millimeters of rain. And a snowfall warning. Cold enough for that.
Just to boot.
Exactly.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Exactly.
Snowfall warning. Only in Canada. Look how much, too.
Yeah, 10 to 15 centimeters north of Mackenzie. So this is really staying in the northern sections of BC towards the prairie provinces. But just indicative, Jacqueline, of that cold air that's moving into parts of Alberta this weekend, Saskatchewan and Manitoba as well.
I know it's hard to believe that they've been in the mid-20s, you know, through the prairies most of the week. Well, it's been so lousy on the East Coast, but it is going to come to an end. I think Calgary, Monday, you have the chance of some flurries, some mixed precip.
Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this week with the mild air.
That's right. So we hand things over to Nicole for the rest of the evening. We want to hear from you.
I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic, taking a look at rainfall warnings in place for you in Atlantic Canada. A nor'easter still moving through, impacting the Maritimes the most. And we have Yarmouth, St. John, over towards Lunenburg, still in a rainfall warning. An additional 20 to 30 millimeters will fall through to your Friday. And then it starts to weaken a little bit for tomorrow afternoon, evening time. However, for the weekend, we're still seeing some on and off showers to portions of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. But this is a satellite and radar right now. Heavier bands of rain definitely moving in through portions of Quebec at this time, but we still have areas like Halifax, even PEI, seeing some rain showers that are pretty consistent at this point. No wind warnings in effect at this point either, but we do have some strong winds along the shorelines of Nova Scotia. This is our additional rainfall through to Saturday, and for Newfoundland, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain across portions of the Avalon Peninsula. This is not a big event for you. It's still a measurable amount of rain, but we're not looking at rainfall warnings. This is not as impactful as it is for the Maritimes. Let's take a look at this image right here. Temperatures fairly average for this time of year across the east, and numbers in terms of how much rain you've picked up as of 3 p.m. Gagetown 41 millimeters, Greenwood 29, Halifax 11, and for Fredericton 31 millimeters of rain. So seeing a bit more into tomorrow. This is the track of the system. we've got those northeast winds, which is why it's called a nor'easter, continuing through the overnight. And then it does start to pull into Newfoundland as we get into Friday morning. You'll notice that cloud cover. Also seeing some strong northeasterly winds for places like St. John's, winds sustained at 30 kilometers an hour out of the east. And we will see that rain letting up in the Maritimes, but still it's going to be a little bit dreary. We move next to the west coast, where we've seen some heavy amounts of rain. These totals are as of Tuesday into today. So Vancouver, 39 millimeters of rain so far with the two events, and it's caused a lot of problems and localized flooding on your neck of the woods in BC. And earlier this week on Tuesday night, we also had some power outages because of a storm moving in. Now for you in BC, we don't have any warnings in place, but through to Friday, we still have some rain showers for the island, lower mainland as well. This will bring you under 15 millimeters. So definitely for this week, this is one of the less intense days in terms of rain. Snowfall warning up towards Fort St. John. This will be overnight into Friday. How much are we seeing? About 10 to 15 centimeters of snow, and some snow even extending into northern sections of Alberta. And if we're seeing snow in the north, we're seeing cold air in the south. And for places like Calgary, this evening sitting around 11 degrees, but into the weekend, single-digit highs for Calgary, Edmonton as well. This evening, Abbotsford 10, Nanaimo's 10, Fort St. John seeing a rain-snow mix. And for this evening, moving towards the Prairie provinces, we do have some dry weather, yes, but temperatures cooler than earlier this week. Saskatoon is 10, Winnipeg 12, and for Kenora, 11 degrees. We're on Twitter. I'm at Nicole Karkic. Love to hear from you. So for Friday across the country, best places to be, southern Ontario, moving over towards the prairies. Thanks for joining us. Storm watch coverage does continue. We have a nor'easter moving up the eastern seaboard through the maritime provinces at this point, still dropping quite a bit of rain through areas like Halifax, places like Yarmouth and Lunenburg, Bridgetown still in a rainfall warning, and St. John, New Brunswick. We expect the heaviest rain to fall overnight tonight into your Friday morning, and then it will start to taper off. So there is going to be a lessening in sight, but at this point we've got the dark green on the radar showing you the rain bands moving through places like St. John, Fredericton, even PEI, and through portions of Quebec as well, and through the Bay of Fundy, we are seeing some spotty showers there. So how much are we getting? Right into Saturday, we'll see 30 to 60 millimeters anywhere in this dark green. And even though we're starting to see the rain let up tomorrow afternoon, we will get in places like Halifax some on and off showers into your weekend as well. East winds, however, do continue through the overnight, so raw easterly winds, northerly winds, definitely the story. And as far as the rain you've seen so far, places like Halifax only 11 millimeters, and for Fredericton 31, but for Yarmouth it's been 38, and Western Head 62 millimeters of rain. And this is from 3 p.m. so likely these numbers will go up into tomorrow afternoon when we do the final count. So this is our northeast winds indicated by the arrows continuing overnight across Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, Newfoundland. Nice day today. That starts to change tomorrow. You'll notice increasing cloud cover, and we will see some showers. No rainfall warning in place across Newfoundland. However, places like St. John's getting 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. We move next to BC, where we're talking about some rain showers, which you've seen since Tuesday. West Vancouver, 56 millimeters of rain. For Vancouver, 39. And that takes us to this video right here. A bit of a break on Friday across the lower mainland. This is indicating under 15 millimeters of rain across Vancouver Island towards the lower mainland. Hope maybe a bit more, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. We do have a warning in BC. It's for snow. Fort St. John, 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. And at Whistler Blackcomb, I was just looking at a picture. Their webcam is showing a lot of snow on those hills. So definitely getting excited about that season for you. Through to Friday, we do have the snowfall forecast for you extending even north of Grand Prairie. We're seeing some snow into tomorrow. And for this weekend, places like the city of Calgary cooling right down, that by Monday you could see a rain-snow mix. But now Calgary 11 degrees, Edmonton is 7, Grand Prairie 2, Abbotsford 10, Nanaimo 10, seeing those showers in BC certainly for this evening. Let's take us to the prairies now, where it is dry. It's going to be really quiet into tomorrow. We do have temperatures sitting at 13 degrees in Winnipeg for tonight. Thompson could see some fog patches. Now, stay with us this evening, and if you'd like to show some photos, website theweathernetwork.com. So a quick snapshot across the country for Friday. That unsettled weather with the nor'easter moving through. But if you're in Ontario, Toronto, for example, it's going to be gorgeous on Friday again towards the Prairie provinces. High pressure in place. And for the weekend, we've got a developing system in northwestern Ontario as well as southern southern Quebec.
Visit our...
Lots of activity happening right across the country. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. As we look at the story in the east before we move to the prairies and the west, we do have a nor'easter still pummeling parts of the maritime provinces, bringing places like Yarmouth, Lunenburg, and St. John an additional 20 to 30 millimeters of rain through tomorrow. Now, it will lessen tomorrow in terms of intensity. However, we will see on and off showers in places like Halifax for the weekend and some strong winds too. The radar returns showing it's nice and clear right now in Newfoundland, but there's rain coming for you. We do have places like Fredericton, PEI, even Halifax still seeing some steady showers. So this is your forecast into Saturday. For Newfoundland, you're going to start to see the rain building in tomorrow morning, maybe even some places tonight. 15 to 30 millimeters, however, that's under rainfall warning criteria. And you are going to see some easterly winds across the Avalon Peninsula, sustained at 30 kilometers an hour for Friday afternoon. For this time of year in the maritime provinces, places like Halifax getting up to 14 degrees. Usually you're closer to 11, so a few degrees above the average. But with that cloud cover and rain, of course, didn't feel like it. As of 3 p.m., these are our totals. Greenwood, 29 millimeters. Western Head, 62. Halifax, 11. And this is the system as it continues to move rather slowly through the maritime provinces overnight tonight. And then look at Newfoundland. By Friday morning, you're definitely seeing that cloud cover, and it just completely covers the island and continues into the weekend. Next up, we move to the west coast. This is more rain to contend with for the city of Vancouver. This is at the airport, 39 millimeters of rain, so closer to the city. Probably this number was a little bit higher. Pitt Meadows, 34, West Vancouver, 56, and Port Alberni, 138 millimeters. Now, mind you, these numbers are from Tuesday's storm as well, and that was the one that knocked out power to thousands of customers for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Now, through to Friday, we still have a little bit more rainfall to go across the lower mainland. Places like Vancouver, under 15 millimeters of rain. It's not too bad. We do also have in BC, however, a snowfall warning in place. Fort St. John is included, 10 to 15 centimeters by tomorrow. So if there's cold air in the north, it's coming for you. Usually in the south, and that's what's going on here. Northern Alberta, north of Grand Prairie, under 5 centimeters into Friday. A cold front bringing in some showers tonight north of Edmonton, and even north of Calgary could see some spotty showers. Downtown Calgary, you're looking dry, but we do have temperatures that are going to gradually cool down right into the weekend. Calgary, 11 degrees this evening. Edmonton, 7. Medicine Hat, 15. Abbotsford, 10 with showers, and Nanaimo's 10 with seeing showers as well. This evening across the Prairie provinces, it is quiet right now. Now, speaking of nor'easters happening in the east, check out this reporter's brushes with nature in our top 5. Here are your... Glad you could join us this evening. We have a nor'easter on the east coast, rain in BC, a clear, beautiful day across the prairies for tomorrow and Ontario. But let's talk about where we're seeing the most active weather first. So we take you to Atlantic Canada, Yarmouth, Lunenburg, Bridgetown, over to St. John, still in a rainfall warning. An additional 20 to 30 millimeters into Friday. It will taper off. That's the good news on Friday. However, we still have a chance of seeing some showers for the weekend across the east. It's a little unsettled. There's another system moving in, unfortunately. The next system for the weekend, though, not as intense as what you're seeing right now. So through PEI and through St. John, heavy amounts of rain. That's where the dark green certainly is. We've seen a few lightning strikes as well offshore, so potentially some water spouts could be seen on the water. And for Newfoundland, you've had a pretty clear, beautiful, nice day today. That will start to change tomorrow. We'll see increasing cloud cover. And by Saturday, St. John's, Newfoundland, 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. This is the additional rainfall we can see into parts of the maritime provinces. So still quite a bit left. Like the area, and as far as the rainfall totals have been so far, not crazy amount, but places like Western Head, 62 millimeters, Halifax, 11, and for Gagetown, 41, Yarmouth, 38. And yes, there still is a little bit more to go. So those numbers, those totals will be going up by the end of the day into tomorrow. Northeast winds continue. That's what those arrows are indicating. That's why it's called a nor'easter. That continues overnight right into your Friday, and then there it is starting to shoot into Newfoundland, and that's going to bring some strong easterly winds across the Avalon Peninsula, sustained at 30 kilometers an hour. Now, Saturday still a little bit unsettled. We move to the west, where, as you can see, we've also had some pretty impressive rainfall totals. Port Alberni, since Tuesday, 138 millimeters. Vancouver, 39 millimeters. But even with 39 millimeters of rain for you across the lower mainland, an additional 50 15 millimeters for Vancouver. Hope, however, is seeing 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. And look at this, a snowfall warning in place for Fort St. John, 15 centimeters potentially by Friday. Some snow in northern Alberta as well. And temperatures here, Abbotsford sitting at 10 degrees this evening, and we are seeing some spotty showers. Calgary 11. Stay with us. Send us your photos and videos. Right now, science behind the weather.
Snow brush.
Thanks for joining us. Stormwatch coverage does continue. East Coast and West Coast dealing with some flooding rains, and we also have some stories to talk about through the Prairie provinces, Ontario and Quebec, so stay with us. As we look at rainfall warnings, we've got St. John over towards Yarmouth and Lunenburg still in a rainfall warning. The heaviest amounts of rain continuing tonight through New Brunswick in the south, and for PEI, you're getting hit pretty hard as well at this point. We expect an additional 30 to 60 millimeters. Note this takes us into Saturday because it's still going to be a little unsettled as we start your weekend. This system winding down a bit on Friday, but there is another system on the way for the weekend. So clean those storm drains, get everything ready because you're going to need to have your umbrellas ready this weekend still. Here's Nathan Coleman from earlier today. Good tip, and that applies to the people in BC as well. Now for the east, we've got St. John, New Brunswick, 52 millimeters as of 3 p.m. local time. Halifax 11, Western Head 62, and there's more to go. Northeasterly winds do continue to be quite gusty. We don't have wind warnings in place, but still, it's breezy out there, definitely. We are starting to see this move into Newfoundland. St. John's, Newfoundland will be seeing 20 to 30 millimeters of rain by the start of Saturday. Let's move next to the west. And we had some localized flooding in Port Moody today through parts of Metro Vancouver. Some people not able to pass through certain streets. It's been soggy. And if you look at how much the airport saw in Vancouver, it was 39 millimeters of rain. So it doesn't take too much for things to cause some problems out there. Port Alberni, 138 millimeters. Abbotsford, 22. Pitt Meadows, 34. And West Vancouver, 56. And we still have more tonight. Good news is it is starting to let up in intensity through tomorrow. Hope is seeing about 15 to 30 millimeters of rain. And for the north, Fort St. John does have a snowfall warning in place. Expect to see 10 to 15 centimeters through to Friday, and northern Alberta cold enough for the snow. It's definitely going to be a chilly weekend for places like Calgary and Edmonton. Connect with us. Send us your photos and videos if you have some good ones. So for this evening, Abbotsford 10 degrees, Nanaimo's 10, Calgary's 10, Edmonton 9. Through the Prairie provinces, nice and quiet for you tonight. We are seeing cooler temperatures than earlier this week, but still into tomorrow, it is going to be nice and sunny. Right now, take a look at this top 5 list. Stormwatch coverage does continue. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Taking a look at what's going on in the east, we do have a nor'easter still bringing rain showers to parts of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. We're looking at an additional 25 to 30 millimeters of rain by Friday. And then for the weekend, there is another system moving in with more rain. But that one won't be as intense as what we've seen in the last 24 hours. We do have some heavier bands of rain. And anytime you see the dark green on the radar in places like St. John, even Fredericton, through the Bay of Fundy, we're seeing some spotty showers as well that are pretty intense. That will continue to linger into Friday. 30 to 60 millimeters through Saturday. And for Newfoundland, you're starting to see that wet weather tomorrow. St. John's, Newfoundland, 15 to 30 millimeters by Saturday. Definitely not the best idea. You definitely need some umbrellas today and into the weekend as well. As of 3 p.m. local time, St. John, 52 millimeters of rain, Greenwood 29, and for Western Head, 62 millimeters of rain. So it just continues. We've got some northeast winds barreling through the area. There's that wet weather overnight. It just is a slow mover, so we can see some localized flooding. And then for Newfoundland, there it is for Friday. And then notice how it still leaves behind some cloud cover and showers for the weekend. It's a little bit dreary. Let's take you next to the west, where pictures to show you from Twitter. Right here you can see flooding in Port Moody. Look at that road. That doesn't look like fun. It definitely needs to be cleaned out. And we've got towards the north a different situation, cold enough for snow. This is at Whistler Blackcomb. As you can see, people are getting ready and excited about the winter ski season. And Nathan Coleman in the east says good idea to clear the storm drains tonight. He's in St. John, New Brunswick for today, but that applies across all of Atlantic Canada. How can you send us your photos? And they will appear right here on TV. My Twitter account is at Nicole Karkic. We've got the Weather Network account. Use the hashtag BC Storm and ATL Storm. And theweathernetwork.com is a good place to upload your photos and videos as well. So as we wrap up what's going on, the numbers from BC, Vancouver, 39 millimeters of rain. Send us your photos and videos, and maybe they can make next week's Around the World in 60 seconds. Here's one right now.